Happy Tuesday.
Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And when you hear that catchy jingle at the top of a show, it means one thing. It's a Visit Lauderdale edition of the Lunchbox, and that means I am joined by the lovely and talented Neki Mohan, along with today we're at the Rabbit Hole in Pompano Beach.
I'm so excited.
I'm pleased
you
to be
forgot to
here.
say talented eater.
Yes,
That's why you guys have me on the show, because I dive in. But no, I mean, I watch the commercial that airs right before the segment. I get so excited because our brand is everyone under the sun, and when we talked about this last year, we talked about every dish under the sun and all these hidden gems here in Broward County that provide real value. And for Black History Month, we have Chef Sam of the Rabbit Hole in Pompano Beach. Welcome.
Hey,
I am so happy that you allowed us to come in. It was relatively short notice, but it's been on my list for a while to come check out because, I used to be at the Sun Sentinel, and since I left, I keep seeing all these, great feature stories by my man Philip Vallis and some others, and you got praise and top 100 in the Yelp's hottest restaurants. I think that was a couple of years ago. But just tell us a little bit about the Rabbit Hole.
How many years have you been here?
And how long you've been here, and what got you to this place?
Sure. Well, first off, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be able to sit down and have a conversation with you. I know how much you guys do for our community with Visit Fort Lauderdale and the Sun Sentinel. So we definitely appreciate your hard work. And it's my honor to roll out the red carpet for you guys and, help introduce you to some culinary coolness, right? And allow people to see, just how much fun you can have in a plant-based diet. That being said,
I could have fun with any food.
But what led you to a plant-based diet? Did you grow up a vegan?
I did not. I spent a lot of time, as a young kid in the kitchen and enjoying cooking, but I wasn't introduced to a plant-based lifestyle until, I was well into my adult life, probably about 7 years ago, I would say. I started off as a flexitarian where, I was trying to get rid of red meat. And I haven't eaten red meat probably in over 15 years. But just gradually, I ended up getting to a place where I was 100% plant-based, I would say comfortably for about 7 years now. This location is our flagship location here in Pompano Beach. And we've been open for a little over 3 years now.
That's great. Yeah. You opened right at the start of the pandemic, or
we did.
We did. That's tough.
It was, and it was something that was unexpected. This is a concept that, I spent basically all of 2018 and 2019 developing. I was spending a lot of time in Europe, and which is where I like to spend a lot of my free time. And now I actually have to open a Rabbit Hole and getting ready to open a new location. I don't have a whole bunch of that anymore. But in between selling businesses, before I decided to get back into this industry, is when I decided that it'd be cool to bring something like this to South Florida, because I was in Europe and London and Germany, Spain, and the plant-based options are just so plentiful and so enjoyable, and they have plant-based proteins and things like that aren't available here in the States. So that's what inspired me. And I've always been passionate about cooking. I spent, a good amount of my adolescence and adulthood in being a chef. I went to culinary art school in North Andover, Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
I went to a technical high school there. I did go to Johnson and Wales in Rhode Island. I spent a lot of time, getting classically trained in Michigan. I spent time as a sous chef at the Detroit Medical Center, the College for Creative Studies, which is also a location here in Miami, and also the Detroit Institute of Art. So just always been passionate about this.
So now I did a little reading that you grew up in Detroit, and I guess some of your experiences were with food was, after church and having these church picnics and fried chicken and things like that. And that when you, kind of went to the vegan side, that you didn't want to open some raw organic, fruits and vegetable thing, that you wanted to kind of recreate that comfort food from your youth. And now I guess this is what you've done here. You're featuring a lot of those dishes, right?
You're,
What are
you're
some
absolutely
of the
right.
Yeah.
I mean, we specialize in recreating some of the world's most popular food dishes and desserts and preparing them cruelty-free. So although everything on our menu is 100% plant-based, we don't use any animal products at all, we are known for our recreations or our adaptations to mimic, the traditional recipes and rival them. So, I'm really happy about that. I mean, we've got stuff on our menu from, boneless wings to barbecue spare ribs to stir fries and quesadillas and I mean, Philly cheesesteaks. And the idea here was to create a test kitchen where I can feature all of these different types of cuisine that people hadn't seen necessarily veganized or in this way. And, eventually develop each concept and introduce it to South Florida. And that's kind of what we're doing now with two of our newest concepts that are, inspired from the rabbit hole or was a part of our test kitchen. One of them is called Burger, which is VRGR, and it'll be a burger bistro, 100% plant-based. We got a cool kind of virtual reality concept and theme that'll run throughout that particular concept. And then we have one called Wing, WYNG. So it'll be like a first vegan wing stop, right?
Okay.
Wow.
Really excited about that. We'll have like 20 different flavors of wings. And really just trying to normalize the culture, right, and the lifestyle of living plant-based, but feeling like you're not missing anything at all. And that's what's giving us a niche here.
Now, what's the reaction, like the clientele? Is it mostly vegans, or you got people who are bringing their meat-eating friends to check it out, and then they are also converted and say, wow, this is pretty good, and maybe it's a little bit better for the environment, and there's other benefits to eating this plant-based food? Are you getting, some of the crossover appeal and people coming in who are still meat eaters?
For sure. I mean, I would say our cult following is going to be the people who are vegan or vegetarian and who understand how difficult it is to find food like this that's plant-based. But honestly, I feel like that I find the most enjoyment in people who are actual meat eaters who come to the restaurant and who are looking to kind of challenge the idea of, what the legend of the rabbit hole has become, right? And then people who are plant-based or vegan who want to bring their meat eater friends in, and it's kind of like a challenge to say, hey, we can have enjoyable food too, or, we can come here for my birthday with my family and friends who are meat eaters, who are not meat eaters, and everyone have a great experience, as opposed to traditionally, most vegans like myself can recall maybe going out for a birthday experience or to a fine dining restaurant, and we got salad and broccoli.
Oh my
right?
goodness,
Maybe
that
some
happened the other
fries.
night. That happened the other night. I was at an event, and I'm not going to say where, but the vegan on the table literally got some stir-fried vegetables. They didn't even give him it's
better than crudité. Sometimes it's just the raw vegetables
diving
and a
into
little
like
dip.
chicken, mashed potatoes,
Right.
and he literally got like some strips. I'm like, how is he? He's already skinny. How is he supposed to survive off of that?
I mean, seriously, it's unfortunate, but it's our reality, and I'm doing my best to help change that. And I feel like a part of my purpose
That's
is
awesome.
to, help as many people live and understand a plant-based lifestyle as possible. And that's the idea here. To circle back, that's why I create the type of food that I create, because if you can get people to try new things, right, and to feel comfortable doing it, right, or to give people an experience that they're happy with, that they enjoy, they're more likely to come back and actually give it a try.
Absolutely. So now, we heard all about your background, and you're well trained, you're well traveled. I always find that it's family you have the hardest time turning, bringing to this side of stuff. You grew up in Detroit. A lot of Detroiters are original Southerners that moved up north. Tell me about an experience with somebody in your family that you didn't think would ever, agree with the lifestyle that now swears by it.
For sure. If I'm being honest with you, just the fact that you mentioned some of the origin of, being from Detroit, having a lot of Southern, roots, right? A lot of my family migrating from the
Hmm.
South, and still having those traditions that are being passed on as far as what we like to eat, the type of food, the way we prepare it and season it, and so on and so forth. So definitely, that's a big inspiration in the type of food that I make here. I would say my parents are two people who I feel like, I'm very pleased and surprised that my mom has, basically accepted a plant-based
Oh
lifestyle
wow,
that she's living now.
she
And
doesn't
then
give you that arched eyebrow, like really fried
no,
chicken
you
made
know
with
what?
what, gardine or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
it's funny. She's never given me that, but I will say that my dad has been the skeptic, right? He's originally from West Palm, Florida,
Yeah.
so he grew up in South Florida his whole life, and he's a fisherman and a butcher, and
Mhm.
he would tease me and the wife when we'd be out to eat. He'd say, "Where you guys out eating that rabbit food?" And it's funny because that's
where
what
the name
inspired
came from.
the
I was
name
going
of
to
the
rabbit.
ask you.
restaurant.
It is right.
Rabbit food, and
Um,
now you've gone down
Rabbit
the
hole.
rabbit hole.
Well,
But it's a
exactly.
delicious place to be.
Absolutely.
We're here on the Lunchbox. It's a Visit Lauderdale edition with Neki Mohan, and we're joined today by Chef Sam Woods. We're at the Rabbit Hole Restaurant. It's at 2659 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. It's along this whole stretch of some of the greatest, places that you could check out in South
If
Florida.
you
I mean,
haven't been to Pompano in a long time,
oh, it's booming here.
changing.
There's all
Yeah.
kinds of
It's
stuff.
booming here.
And
Mhm.
just like we talk about, everyone under the sun, every dish under the sun, it's all right here on this row. You got a million pizza joints, obviously.
And
You've
this
got
is another example of someone that comes with a fine dining
yeah,
background
no, it's
to this experience, you
yeah.
know. So I want to see him at the Wine and
well,
Food
we're
Festival
gonna
next year.
we're
You gotta
gonna
make that
get him
happen.
there, and we're gonna let him
Awesome.
go make some food. But first,
Mhm.
because it is Black History Month, and
Mhm.
you are a Black-owned business, and I know that your heritage means a lot to you, and that even when I first approached here the other day, there you have on the front windows a map of Africa, and you pose a question to people: is what is your Black experience? Can you just talk a little bit about
What does Black
your
History
Black
Month means to
experience
you?
and Black History Month and what it means to be a Black entrepreneur and Black owned business?
For sure. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you mentioned, where we are, right? We're in Pompano Beach, which is, the heart of the Black community in this kind of metropolitan area, Fort Lauderdale. And it's not by, coincidence. This is by design. I chose to be here because I felt like this is a community that needed me most. I feel like that, in places like Pompano or in Dania Beach, where it is historically Black, there isn't a lot of, healthier options that's available to us. So it was very important to me that I be in a location like this, and we sought it out to be here. As far as Black History Month, it's one of my favorite times of the year, not just because I'm a Black man and I'm very prideful and excited to celebrate my heritage, but also the fact that I spent a lot of my free time doing work as an archivist and as a historian.
Yep.
So I spent time at the African American Research Library and their Special Collections Department, where we help digitize and process, different collections. Also spent a lot of time, in my just free time as a historian, really diving into my history, trying to find more understanding on who I am, where I'm from, my people, and how we're connected, and then try and find ways to introduce that to today and the youth. I have a company called Create that I founded with my brother Emmanuel George, who you mentioned earlier, who's a renowned historian. In fact, we've got his day coming up pretty soon. February 16th is Emmanuel George Day. He's got a proclamation from the city of Hollywood
Nice.
for the work that he does
Yeah.
in our community. And I've been honored to just be by his side over the last few years, taking part in every single event, every single outing. Just recently, he was the Grand Marshal for the Dania Beach MLK parade. So, being up front with him and riding through the neighborhood and just really, having time to appreciate, what it means to be who I am. And it's not a whole lot of people when I was growing up that were, in a position that I'm in. And, I'm so thankful, especially for our community, not just this community here in Pompano, but all of South Florida. We have people that drive 4 hours to come from Orlando to eat and then turn back around and go home.
Wow.
Wow.
I think it speaks to the food, but also the experience. Like you said, Mike, they come, they see in the window, things that help them identify with who they are. It brings a certain level of pride to, your dining experience, right? So for me, it's not just about the type of food that we make. It's the time in which we serve it.
Did you face extra hurdles to get to this point, just getting the business or getting the capital together? Or I mean, in terms of, I don't know if you get backers or have to go to banks, or
For sure.
is it harder for a Black-owned business?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur, most of my adulthood. After my stint in culinary arts, I had a personal chef service where as a part of our nonprofit organization that me and my wife founded, D who's also my partner in the rabbit hole, right? So I must
congrats, you just had a daughter, right?
I did. Hey, baby
well,
Zaylee.
Dee did.
Oh, wow.
And she did the hard
Congratulations.
work, but
Yeah,
you're doing
exactly, right? So, I would be, crazy to not, mention my partner, my wife, who is a really big part of what we do here, the co-founder of Rabbit Hole Ventures. She's why, we're taking our time and kind of getting our second location open, because she's recovering from the baby, right?
Yes,
So
it's a lot of work.
Exactly. We're giving her some time to get back fully and 100%. But I mean, yeah, as Black people, me and her, this is everything to us to feel like that we're a part of something, right? And I'm not just happy to make food that rivals taste of traditional recipes, which is cool. It's why a lot of our cult following has embraced us. But I think I'm more happy and prideful. Well, I know I'm more happy and prideful to be doing this being Black, but also to know that I'm making food that matters, that makes a difference, not just in people's life physically, not just in their conscious morally, but in the world that we all live in and share, right? And the things that help contribute to sustainability. I'm a part of that in a good way. So,
I love it, and we
Nice.
can feel the pride. I mean, thank you so much for
great.
sharing your story.
So
Is it time for a break?
Well, we're gonna
send him to make some of this food. I'm hungry now.
Him go
I'm
make
hungry.
some for food, and then we're gonna eat some
sure.
of it, and we'll have him introduce it again. But we're gonna take a break. We're gonna let Defo come in, and I know you do like a Detroit style coney dog. Is that true, or is that
dear.
off the menu?
What's funny is that he probably seen that it was off the menu right now.
Oh,
That's why
I didn't
he
know
asked me
that.
about it.
No, it's just because Defo
Wait,
loves
that's
those
how he
coney
is, though.
dogs
He starts
with
stuff.
the chili. So that was gonna be.
It's I have to be honest with you. It's one of our most popular things on the menu. People love it. They ask for it all the time. I do change the menu quite often just because I have so much fun creating new things.
Any chef that has a creative side. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, seasonally, I change the menu. I mean, right now, we don't have meatloaf on the menu, but we have meatloaf. We have shepherd's pie. I mean, we've got candy yams and, 3 cheese mazzacholis and all kinds.
And we'll talk more about the components and what you're using when we get back with the food. But meanwhile, we'll take our first break. We're here with Neki Mohan, and again, visit Lauderdale. Everyone under the sun, every dish under the sun.
Visit
the diversity
lauderdale.com.
here.
Yep.
It's incredible.
We're so excited to showcase you on our social media for Black History Month.
So thankful for you guys, by the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We need to spread the word. This is good food. Our VP, SVP of Marketing, Kamala Clark, and her husband Dion, they're from Baltimore.
Okay.
They're big fans. They always come. They come here too. So yeah,
cool.
No. We want to spread the word, and everybody likes to eat, right? It's something we can all agree on.
For sure. Well, you guys are in for a treat, man, and I'm again thankful. I'm looking forward to helping our viewers who are watching right now reimagine.
Everybody come on in.
What
I mean, if not
like.
today, you're open what 6 days a week, or what's the schedule here?
Yeah, generally open 5 days a week.
Okay.
And it's also a part of our identity. The rabbit hole is supposed to be a hole in the wall. It's supposed to be kind of niche with the exclusiveness.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of that today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you know what? I'm looking forward to that as well.
And where are your new locations going to be? Where's the
It's
location?
in Delray Beach,
which
Delray,
is that's close to my heart because I'm doing some work up there.
Delray's booming.
That's booming. That Pineapple Grove neighborhood where he's going in, and he's going to bring in also that kind of slice of history. And Delray Beach has that vibrant historical Black community also there. I don't
I
know if you
love
saw
it.
the museum up there.
Yeah, I've been to
the
Spady.
Yeah.
Charlene Farrington is a really, really lovely woman. She is, I believe, who is their, kind of executive director
Yeah.
or art curator there at Spady, and she's amazing. Actually, I have an event that's coming up called their Author Speak, which is really cool. So it's going to be a partnership between Spady, the Rabbit Hole, the CRA of Delray Beach. And we're going to be doing a 3-series where it's going to allow these 3 different authors to come up and speak to the Black experience. Like one of them's going to be talking about hair, another one's going to be talking about something else. But it's really cool. The first
and you'll cater some of these events?
Yeah. All of them I'll be catering.
And that restaurant is not going to be opening until later on in the spring sometimes. I guess you're aiming for, right?
If my baby allows it. For me,
know.
I'm just taking my time, and I want all of our viewers to know that too, because a lot of people always ask me, when are you going to be open? When are you going to open? I'm really looking forward to Delray, and I am too. I would love to be open, obviously, from a business
This is our
standpoint.
effort to boost Broward tourism, is that everybody up in the Delray area that wants to get a sneak peek of the rabbit hole, just take a little drive.
But we also need one of these out west, too.
Yeah, we're working
Miramar,
on it.
Pembroke Pines.
And you know what? They are doing just that. From out west to up north, they're making the trip here, and that's why I really want to thank you guys so much.
Now, if this wings concept takes off, I mean, number one, you're afraid Rick Ross is going to show up one day and that maybe want to have some of them and try them and
Rick
give
Ross
them
is welcome.
I'm looking forward to it. Rick Ross is welcome.
Not afraid, but he's got the ownership of Wingstop.
Listen, Ross, if you're listening, or if you ever see this, you are a staple in our community. I would love to have you here. I'll close the restaurant. You come here, you can definitely, have as many wings as you like, and I would love to.
You never know, you might get those vegan wings on the menu at the other place.
Man.
That would be.
What was really cool is actually. We got voted best wings in Florida during like the Super Bowl for the Suns. We didn't get voted best wings, but we were on the list for the Sun Sentinel.
Right.
And they were, I don't know if you remember that a couple of years back, they were doing the Super Bowl, and we were the only plant-based restaurant to make the list. So that for me was,
that tells you something.
Yeah, we went to like the second or third round. Nice. I was cool with that.
Amazing.
All right. Well, let's take a break. We'll let Chef Sam do what he does back in the kitchen, and then we'll come back after these words on the Lunchbox with Jeff Defo DeForest, and we'll catch up with him a little bit after this.
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
Oh, we're back on the Lunchbox. It's a Visit Lauderdale remote edition. We're at the Rabbit Hole in Pompano Beach. Again, if you want to check it out, it's at 2659 East Atlantic Boulevard.
Yep.
And it's very close to the
I really
Intracoastal.
enjoyed speaking to Chef Sam. Did you listen to what he had to say, Jeff?
It sounded great. I mean, sounded like an inspirational guy. And, there's a fascination. I don't know how they do it because I was looking at the menu and I'm thinking, yeah, wait a minute. It's a vegan place and they're serving chicken wings and all of this other stuff and chicken cacciatore and all kinds of wild stuff. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And then you realize they're manufacturing this.
There are ways
and
now.
simulating the taste, which is great.
Now, I look, as a critic, sometimes I'm a little bit skeptical of, they use these, fake meats now, the Beyond Burgers.
You weren't very happy about that.
Impossible.
Burgers.
No. Well, here's the thing. When I went out and actually did some tastings in the past, and this was when it hit the mass market with the Impossible Whopper. Remember that?
Yes.
And the thing was, the Impossible Whopper tasted better, had a more meaty flavor than the actual real Whopper.
What was it good for you?
And what I said is, like, I don't know if that means the Impossible Whopper was good or it's an indictment of the regular Whopper, but it actually, it had good flavor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, the question is what you bring up. Nutrition-wise, it's definitely lower in fat and cholesterol, but it has
sodium.
it has a lot of sodium. And actually, not actually, it's less in the saturated fats that you find in the red meats, but it's still higher in fats because they're using some substitutes like the palm oils and the coconut oils that also are higher fat.
But-
so nutritionally,
Yeah.
it's,
But in this venue, whereas that's a big production chain,
Yeah.
they've gotten more elevated and I think cleaner.
well, it's like everything
ingredients.
else. Like when you eat with
Yeah.
a really well-trained chef who cares about technique and ingredients and clean food, and even though he's doing this comfort thing and he is frying food, but heck, I mean, I went to the Catherine and I had some fried dishes there and some roasted things. Like all chefs are mindful of that balance between deliciousness and also health-mindedness.
Yeah.
So
And you can do it when you have your own place versus
yeah. It's
a bunch of
quality control.
17-year-olds cooking you
Well,
burger.
no, and it's not corporate. It's not like trying to cut.
Even a veggie burger, though, has come a long way since its
Yeah.
original conception.
remember the Boca Burger back in the days?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you'd go to a restaurant, order a veggie burger, and there are, various, variations on a theme, if you will. And,
up black
some of
beans,
them were good and some of them weren't so
portobello
good. But
mushrooms. Yeah.
I found over the years, you can, if you want to go that route, you can order something, and it's probably going to be a reasonably.
And
good
I mean, I
quality.
know this is lunchtime, but you can definitely tell the I don't want to ruin anybody's lunch, but when you eat something that's cleaner
Yeah,
and has more vegetables in it, it produces good results feeling wise.
no doubt,
Oh,
man. As
yeah.
evidenced by your
It
dry
go-
month of January.
Exactly.
Yes.
It goes through. Listen, when you make a change, you feel better. And that should be, what did they say? Let food be thy medicine.
Yes, and for me,
Mike's been
it's-
living by that for the last 6 years.
Yeah,
or
but
so.
who's his doctor, Kevorkian?
I call it.
It
my-
soon will be. If he keeps his
By the
pace
way,
going.
speaking of that, have you seen the movie The
He's a
Whale?
Detroiter too.
Yeah.
The Whale. Have you seen the movie The
I
Whale
have
yet?
not, but
Okay.
I've seen the reviews about
Well,
it.
it's a
and
very
Brendan
powerful
Fraser.
performance, and it's
Yeah.
tangentially about food because it's a guy who's basically eating
Obese.
himself to death.
Yeah.
But it definitely hit home with me a couple of things, particularly the way that he would shovel pizza one slice on top of another, make like a pizza sandwich, and just like cram it in his mouth. And
Well,
it's-
it's not what you weigh; it's what's weighing you down.
mm,
And there's so much of psychology.
This woman's brilliant.
that
You know what I
goes
mean?
in-
She's
thank
great. Yeah.
There's so much psychology that goes into what we eat, like he's talking about,
Yeah.
the historical feeling of this is our comfort food, this is our heritage, whether you're Italian, Caribbean, African American, whatever, but at a certain point in time, you have to understand why you're eating in the quantities you are and why you're not just waiting until you're hungry to eat.
Yeah.
And that's what Noom and all these apps, the Weight Watchers, those are all the things they use therapy and group meetings to get to the heart of the mental part of why you're overindulging.
No, and some people eat their feelings, and in my case,
It's fun to eat your
Whole
feelings.
bags of peanut M&Ms, the large
Listen, Cleveland,
family size.
Cleveland's
That's
ice
where you
cream
know you're in
put
trouble.
up
Yeah.
a vat of turmeric vegan ice cream
Ooh,
on their
nice.
Instagram, and I haven't
That's
been able to get it out of my head. I'm doing everything I can not
That
to drive to
sounds-
Miramar
That sounds savory.
to
Yeah,
get
I like that.
turmeric vegan.
I love all his flavors out there
Yeah.
that celebrates the island culture. The bun,
Yeah,
bun
but
and
he also
cheese
does
and
for somebody that's lactose intolerant recreate the same feeling and same taste, but you don't even notice the difference. And that's what I'm hoping this guy's going to do here.
What
well,
level of
Esther.
experimentation must it take though
It's
to come up with
lunchtime
this
here
stuff?
and it's busy, so
Yeah.
we have the team helping us out.
But
Yeah, no.
it can't be easy to just. I mean, is there a formula for this stuff? Or I mean, I would imagine there's a lot of trial and error in trying to come up with the right formula
with
to
any
make
restaurant.
cauliflower
into
into
the-
steak. Yeah.
I didn't get deep into the culinary stuff with
Yeah.
Chef Sam until I want to see what the food is, because the way they recreate cheeses now, it used to be using soy
Yeah.
protein, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. Now they're using a lot more of the nuts and the cashew butter and things like that to recreate the creaminess of cheeses, and it's really remarkable. I've had some outstanding vegan meals around South Florida, and I'm sure we're going to be having some more outstanding.
This is encouraging.
vegan
It
food here.
really is.
Yeah.
Oh no! Well,
We're having an intervention here
Planta
today.
Queen down on
Neki.
Las Olas is getting rave reviews. Then there used to be down in Miami a place that name escapes me, but it was down on the edge of Wynwood, and Plant Miami was another
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
So there was, look,
Have you been to
elevated.
Planta Queen?
No, I still have to go there. Yeah,
Right.
it's
Well, maybe this will encourage you
Oh,
because
no,
Planta
it's-
Queen,
I-
you're not missing anything.
Oh, I know. There's
You're
like
not, when you
they
go
do
there,
those
you
little
just you forget it's a
the
vegan place.
dumplings that are filled with, like, sometimes they do that edamame. They
Yeah.
mash up the
to
edamame
try it.
paste and
It's
they
so
make
good.
it with garlic and truffle, and it comes out like you don't miss anything when you go
Yeah.
to these places. Now Defo,
Friend of mine is a vegetarian, strict vegetarian. Eats no meat whatsoever. He weighs like 300 pounds.
Yeah, you probably eat a lot of cheese and bread.
all
though.
he eats is pizza. That's it.
Right.
He
Well,
only eats pizza.
And,
He knows
and
every
that-
pizza
and
spot
that,
in the
and
country.
that was, again, in the beginning of the movement, a lot of people who were becoming vegetarians or vegans because of the environment, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't, they weren't
cow production
necessarily
is bad.
eating the best things that were healthy for their bodies. And that's another thing. I know a lot of friends that were vegan that it didn't work for them health wise, and they had to incorporate meat into their
it's
diet.
like any other diet. It's like you need a proper balance
It's a
between
lifestyle.
vegetables and like eating salads and things like that, and then processed foods. Now, if all you eat is processed foods or fried food, because I've had people who are vegan say, yeah, all I eat is mac and cheese, or Oreo cookies, and the vegetarians, and they can have mac and cheese and
Yeah.
Oreo cookies, and if that's all you eat, not probably the healthiest thing for you.
No, you're going to
but-
get a check pretty
No,
early in
it's
life,
just-
I think.
It's like anything else.
Or
It's
French
that,
fries,
it's that
yeah.
if you could incorporate a couple new habits in your lifestyle that lets you feel better and live longer, then why not?
Yeah, and the biggest challenge for the vegan, community and also vegan cuisine is replicating
Variety.
the proteins.
Yeah.
It's getting
Yeah.
that feel of the meats, the chickens, the fish, but not being able to use those things.
There's no eggs, no dairy.
But still being able to get protein, and they are now these substitutes that are packed with protein. That was that Gardein that became a
Yep.
very popular product. That the way that now they're recreating some chicken has become remarkable. I mean, it's become like anything else. At the beginning, it was a little
Yeah.
but 10 years
Tasted
later,
like you got it from Firestone.
Right.
Yeah, right.
but 10 years later, they've made refinements in the
Well, we
process.
mentioned a bunch of names here that we're going to get sued by.
No.
This is going to be good, and it could be the start of something big. I remember I mentioned this morning too, and we've talked about it before. I worked in LA for a little while at one of the original health food restaurants that would would be considered health food. And it was this family of like really super duper hippy dippies that were wearing white robes and, had all of their own, regulations about how to eat. And it was extremely
And they
popular.
wore Nikes.
Yeah, maybe. Extremely popular place.
Don't hit him with the hypocrisy there, Nikki.
And I mean, the food, if you ate that way, you would always feel good. I mean, it was, just a great,
Was
great
it what they
diet.
were eating or what they were smoking?
Well, it could have been a little both, but
That's vegan too.
yeah. But I mean,
yes, no, it's an herb and it's a plant. It's plant
And now it's legal.
and it's for medical purposes, as my mom can attest.
It's legal all over this country.
It's a wonderful thing. Hey, before we get back to Chef Sam and the vegan food, there is one topic that was floating around on the Let's Eat group, and hi everybody out there. We're almost at 98,000, closing in 100,000.
You must be doing
That's
something
crazy.
right.
I don't know. I'm doing
Do
something.
they just tune in to watch
I
you
don't
eat
know if
messages?
it's
he has beyond a cult following.
But the thing
That's
that
awesome. Are
has
you on
got-
TikTok? He needs to be on TikTok.
Yeah.
Anyway, go
I
ahead.
need to be a TikToker. My daughter won't show me how to get on there. Or
No,
do
he's
anything.
killing it on TikTok. Is he not?
Oh well,
Lubie's putting him up whenever he's stuffing himself with
He's
something at a
putting my
restaurant.
Brendan Fraser
Yeah.
impression on TikTok when I go out to these remotes, and I sometimes do some extreme eating where shoveling food in. He's been cutting up those clips and putting them on TikTok and
Oh,
on
my
Reels
goodness.
on Instagram,
Yeah.
racking up thousands of
Listen,
views.
you're
It's-
only your
I've
friends.
become a freak
But anyway,
show.
what do
He's
you
more
use?
popular than Kylie Jenner with some of his
I'm
stuff.
a clown.
He wishes.
Yeah.
I'm a clown.
wishes
I'm a
I wish
carnival
he was more
clown.
popular than
all
Kylie
right.
Jenner.
Somebody
So
mistook him
what
for
are they
Bad
talking
Bunny
about
the
on the
other day.
Let's Eat South
Okay,
Florida
so
page?
the one topic I just wanted to get a quick take from everybody on that somebody posted a picture at Jack's Diner in Hollywood on Federal Highway.
All right.
It was recently taken over, new ownership, and they posted these signs on the table that please limit your time to 45 minutes. Basically, eat and get out of here in 45 minutes.
Eat and run.
And eat and run.
Is he that
And
busy? Oh, he's-
well, it's
Oh,
a
he needs to
diner,
make-
and the
yeah.
thing is,
My relatives practice that every Thanksgiving for years.
weekend diners, usually people just eat and go about and go on. It's not like a lingering Saturday night with a social crew. But a lot of people were just kind of, it's caused a torrent of commentary and activity. What do you think? Is that kind of rude for a restaurant to do that? A diner place?
You know what?
or-
I think it's okay for them to say it if they give the people the reason behind it.
It's a little short, though. I mean, the
Right? Give
45.
me a little more explanation. Like, are
when
you-
does the clock start?
you
Is it
know,
when you first sit down? Is
in
it when
lieu-
the
right,
waitress
there's
takes
a lot
your
of-
order?
But
Is
is it in lieu of raising the prices? Is
No,
you
well,
saying
it
maybe
is.
I'll
They need
circulate
to
more people
turn the
in?
tables. It's
Right,
a diner.
it'll
We
circulate more
understand
people
that.
in.
Most diners understand that, especially when it comes to like a
Yeah.
Sunday breakfast. They'll get their pancakes and eggs. They'll have their cup of coffee, maybe a refill. Nobody reads an actual physical paper anymore, so it's not like they're
But
lingering
guys
over the
will hold
Sunday
meetings in diners and
Well-
order an iced tea and
Yeah.
sit
Some
there
people
for
set
2
up with their
hours.
computers,
Yeah.
Right.
and some people
I want
have
to use your Wi-Fi.
business meetings, and they camp. They call
Listen,
them
you're
campers.
talking to a girl that got kicked out of a Sizzler because I used to go in college, go all Sunday and sit there all day and do my homework. And then
What, was it a
finally,
buffet?
yeah, it was all you can eat.
Wow.
So
You just
I would just sit
All
there.
day, wow.
I was broke. I was in college. So the one time a lady came up to me and she's like, "Lady, you can't just sit here all day."
you go
And I
home
was like, "But
now.
the sign outside says all you can eat, and this is all the money I have." And some nice guy saw me arguing with her and paid for like one more meal for
Oh,
me.
nice.
So wow,
But,
it's like, but you
yeah.
try to get them
Now
on the
that I
whole truth
understand,
in
there are people
advertising
like me
thing.
out there.
All right. Well, and I don't know about you, Defo. I just think like 45 minutes seems a little constrained.
45 minutes is a little too short. Right?
especially if there's a backup in the kitchen. And I don't know if they actually enforce this, if they have
Yeah.
a parking meter
I think
on
we
each
need to
table
do
that
we
they
need to do an undercover Let's Eat South Florida
Well,
page investigation
my
Yeah.
my,
as to
take, my,
if they're making people stay 45 minutes.
my takeaway was this.
I think this would be huge content
Yeah.
for
my
you.
takeaway was this.
Where's Jeff Weins here, man? I mean,
They
he's
should-
got to sit down there and just
He
linger.
can't, speaking of somebody that can't eat anywhere, they see him show
Oh,
up.
yeah.
No, you know
right.
what? I'm very
It's like
pleased.
Mike Wallace shows up at the
I'm
transmission
very
shop.
pleased
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
Jeff lives near me, and I happen to go. I run into him from time to time
Yes, I
at
love Jeff.
restaurants,
Oh, yeah.
and then
be-
you know, like those places
be
are
careful.
golden.
Yes.
No, that he's sitting there
Yes,
eating with
yes,
his family, and
Yeah.
he's
yes.
past the Clean Plate Club, and one of them are sponsors at Grandpa's. So
Okay.
I'm very
Right.
happy to see that he's there. But all right, I think 1 hour would be an acceptable limit. That they, if you're going to post a sign, say limit to 60 minutes, because when you say 45, already people it like triggers people. I
Yeah.
also
it
think
gives you a little anxiety because you're like, oh my God, can I eat in this
yeah.
time?
I
Can I do
also
this?
think
I eat in 15 minutes.
putting a sign like that up on every table sets a tone of
Yes.
basically being a little bit combative and like you're already you're seeing it's like hostile. Like you're already viewing every guest as a potential somebody who's an
did you
impediment.
ask him? Did you ask management?
No,
Did
not
you?
yet. I'm going to
Okay.
get there, but we get.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that obviously this is targeted because they have a problem with some people lingering or setting up shop.
So instead
camping.
of directing it to those individuals,
right, target it. Be more targeted instead of alienating all your guests with something that most of them aren't going to be a problem and it's not an issue. Why not just when the people who are the campers just say, "Can you please move along?" Okay, you know,
But
we're really
isn't that
trying
how
to.
society works, though?
Well,
Like-
and they'll say, "Well, I don't see any
One
policy."
person screws it up for
No,
everybody.
but the thing is, it's a private establishment. You could.
Yeah.
Restaurant owners are allowed to curate their customers. People who say, "Oh, well, it doesn't say I have a time limit. Can't I just sit here all day?" Hey, he goes, "Do me a favor, buddy. Take as long as you want this time and never come back here again." And then that way he'll badmouth it to everybody. He could put his reviews up, but then most people get it. You know, we don't need schnooks ruining it for everybody.
Right, right. But people are so susceptible to those reviews. I look online and unless you're somebody that goes on there and defends your reviews, you can lose a lot of business by those reviews.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yes and no, because there are some people, what I found is that for restaurants that have been around, that do things right, they can absorb some person, some elite Yelper coming in and trying to say, "Oh, I'm going to write a bad review." It's like, if you have enough confidence and you have enough people, like the only people that the Yelper is going to be alienating is people who haven't been there before and already like don't know anything about it.
Right.
But people who base where they're going to be going based on the say-so of one person, and I say this as a former critic, and critics are, you're supposed to be.
You buried a lot of people. No,
but I'm
by
saying
design.
It's the pot calling.
And I would never say don't go here. I would always say, I don't know about this place.
Proceed with caution was, I think,
I would say,
line,
I would never use the words, "Hey, everybody, don't go to this place. It's a disaster." I would only relate my experience and say, I don't know if I'd be so quick to go back here.
That
always
place
make it
that you
about
compare
yourself.
to the dump in New Jersey where they found the bodies of several.
No, just
this has gone off the rails.
No, that was the one restaurant where there's one dish, the short rib.
Yeah.
It looked like a pile that you'd
Mayo,
find at the what's it, the Fresh Kills landfill in Staten Island. I said all that was missing was the.
Needless to say, it was not on that chef's Christmas list.
The place is now gone. It was called Upland.
Oh, look out, man! Here comes some food,
and it's now the site of Carbone.
Well, we need to.
Ooh,
smells good.
Look at
we
this,
got some
all
corn.
right.
We got some.
Oh,
it looks like meatballs. All right, we're gonna have
Meatballs.
Chef come
This
back
looks
and
fantastic.
explain everything. I tell you what, now's a good time to take our second break.
Right, so we can take pictures before we
and,
dive in.
Those are the chicken
Before the
wings?
second break, I just want to tell everybody Tropical Acres is it's the place to go for any night,
This
any
looks,
occasion, or
pretty
a special
incredible, huh?
occasion. Valentine's Day coming up Tuesday, February 14th. There might be some limited availability left. Give them a call, make a reservation, 954-989-2500 Tropical Acres there, 2500 Griffin Road. They've been in business a long time, 73 years. That's older than Defo. That means they're doing something right. And there is no time limit
Not much
there.
older.
You
Yeah.
can hang out and schmooze all you want at Tropical Acres because the Studiali family, they're masters of hospitality. They want everybody to feel just right. So tropicalacres.com, check out all their upcoming events, and we'll be back after these words.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
Back here on the Lunchbox, and Chef Sam has just brought out. It's an onslaught. It's a feast. It's a feast for the eyes and the. I wish everybody could have the smell-o-vision going, because it is smelling terrific here. He's introducing his staff. Come on, sit down again, Chef Sam, and you give some props. You guys can hang out here while he introduces you to the whole audience there.
All right, guys.
What's happening, Chef?
Welcome back.
Welcome
back. So I just went into the booth and put on my Clark Kent, and now you guys got a rabbit hole introduction, right?
Yeah.
So before I even get into this, I just want to thank my guys.
People come first.
For sure. I mean, these are my people. I'm glad that you said it just like that.
Yeah.
Definitely couldn't do any of this without them. These guys hold it down for me, especially right now while I'm, spending all my daddy time at home as much as possible. So all of this great food that you guys are tasting, if you guys come here to the rabbit hole, you can thank Alex, you can thank Larry, you can thank our entire team here. I mean, there's a lot of people to name, but I wanted to bring these two guys up, especially because they're a really big part of what we do here in our infrastructure. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. It all looks terrific.
Yeah, they prepared all this. I was just in there overseeing, but I mean, these guys are really the superstars of the show. I'm just here to help bring it to you guys.
Now, well, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. All right, now let's get on to the food.
Okay.
And what do we have here? And I've got a little bit of everything on my plate. And just give a quick recap
Sure.
for the people at home that maybe can't. Well, we got the tables out there, you can see, but we got
for
chicken
sure.
wings.
So right here we got some of our boneless wings, WYNG, right? These are one of our most popular flavors, honey garlic parmesan. We've got some of our shrimp prawns here as well with some cocktail sauce. Then we got some garlic aioli for dipping for those wings.
I'm going to do some of that. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
We've got some corn on the cob with garlic butter and black truffle sea salt. So that is really good. That goes in the dish that we call, or goes with the dish that we call the smoke in the woods. So I kind of gave you a little, taste of that. You got our Southern style mac and cheese. You got our barbecue spare ribs. And then we've got our cornbread muffins over here with some maple cinnamon sugar. We also got some boneless wings here with some ranch dressing. We've got our kale collard greens over there. So we make collard greens from kale. Right, so those aren't even collards, but we mimic and have them taste like collards because kale is obviously better for you than collards are. So we also got some Korean meatballs. Last but not least, those are one of our most popular things on the menu. And for our different events and catering and weddings, they love the Korean meatballs. So.
All right, I'm going to get into the technical food aspects,
Yes.
but in a second. But first, I just took a bite of that crunchy fried shrimp, you call it. I don't know what you're using inside there, but it replicates both the taste and the texture of shrimp astoundingly. And it's good. And that batter, I don't know what you're putting in it, some secret spices and a little dusting
really
of
good.
love.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned dust because we have a down the hole dust, which is our house seasoning, and you'll taste that in some of our recipes. But yeah, the kunjac, the shrimp is actually made from a tree root called kunjac. It's from East Asia. It's a really interesting product. Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's
talk
great.
about how many options are available for you as a chef to use now. When he started, it was soy. Then we saw some other things coming in the product, but that was like 30 years ago. Now, like you said, I've never heard of kunjac.
Yeah, it's taken so many leaps forward that I'm more confident today than ever that this is something that can be our norm, right? And then, you know, if there's hardcore meat eaters out there, that the dynamic or the pendulum can shift in a way where, you know, we're more focused on our future, our planet, our environment, where people are at least trying to be more
It's
plant-based.
remarkable. This shreds like chicken. This chicken wing.
It's got the bite, it's got the break, it's got the taste, it's got the texture. I mean, what are you missing?
You're
Seriously.
an alchemist. Can you touch my wallet and turn everything into gold?
I mean, and you know, this is a renowned food critic, so I hope you guys don't think that he knows me personally. He's just saying this.
No,
just
this is
to
the
say
first
it.
time I'm eating the food, and again, it's
No, we're both
really,
we're
really.
both former full-time journalists, so we don't have filters.
Okay,
Yeah.
appreciate
filters.
that.
We never like acquired filters.
Okay,
And the
Plus,
first, yeah,
you got to stand behind what you talk about, right?
for sure.
And like you got to stand behind what you cook. So no, this is phenomenal.
now
But
what do
no,
you,
I lived in Jackson, Mississippi too, so I got real Southern cred.
Oh, you know
I got
what's going
Southern
on
cred.
then. That's right.
Is this the southernmost place you've lived?
well, in terms, no, I lived in South Carolina, and even though
Okay.
geographically it's further to the north, I guess mentally it's
Culturally?
Yeah,
further
definitely.
south,
so.
but
Yeah, for sure.
Spartanburg, South Carolina. What? I'm
Mhm.
sorry. What was the chicken product again?
So the chicken product is made from a product called Daring. You know, it's one of those relationships that I built while they were still in Europe and not necessarily here in the States yet. Now you can go to Whole Foods and Publix and see them on the shelf. So, you know, a big shout out to Ross, the CEO of Daring. Just an amazing product. Daring Foods is one of the most premier plant-based, you know, companies that have really kind of taken over the grocery store
I
shelves.
can buy it at Whole
recently.
Foods, and when I make it, it's not
Oh,
going
you
to
know
taste
what?
like
Well,
this.
you know what? It comes. What's interesting about our wings is that the product comes just like you would get like chicken from the store, right? So it's like
Right.
the kind of the base, the raw base, right? And then you can cook it up grilled, or you can bread it and make chicken, fried chicken, or boneless wings. I mean, and I make quesadillas with it and stir fries and all type of cool stuff. But that our boneless wings, we do a 3-stage dredging process for our breading, which makes it unique. You can't get that from the store that way. So you know, obviously that's some of the rabbit hole magic that makes the boneless wings that way. But the actual product is amazing. 20 grams of protein per serving.
Wow.
I mean,
That's outstanding.
just phenomenal.
I mean, for a meat-based alternative,
How do you-
cholesterol free.
I would
It's
come in and
cholesterol
order
free.
How
this.
do you
Yeah.
manage the sodium? Because like I have high blood pressure.
Sure.
So-
You know, food is as far as salt is concerned, there's some products that, you know, have more salt than others, but you know, it's also the way that you prepare the food and how you season it. So personally,
and there's
I do
salts
my
that are
best.
better.
Absolutely. You know, with the corn, instead of using traditional salt, we use black truffle sea salt, right? Which
sea
helps
salt.
elevate the experience. You know, we don't have to overpower with salt for seasoning. You know, I like to use a lot of spices in my seasoning, natural spices, and you can taste that in the food, you know, not overbearingly spicy, but we do have some stuff on the menu that can take it up a notch. But yeah, I try and use, you know, some of the more traditional spices that help the food pack flavor and not saltiness.
And as you can imagine, if he's making the substitute meat taste this good, the vegetables are, you know, that's
I thought you were going to
they're
ask him to
vegetable.
cook a chicken. That's what
No,
I really
I was going to
thought.
say, you know, what do you make the corn out of? And then I realized, oh yeah, it's corn. That's actually acceptable.
Yeah, we make a garlic butter that we baste it afterwards in, and we do a black
That's so
truffle
fun.
sea salt. But it's funny that you mentioned that, because in my past life, I spent the majority of my years making, you know, food that was from animal products. So every single type of cut of meat that you can think of, Mike and Nikki, I've made, I've
Right.
prepared. So that experience has allowed me to recreate dishes like this, because I'm just taking the technique that I learned and reintroducing it to different products, right?
Where did I get the heat from? I took a bite. Is it the corn that has a little bit of spice? Or is
Well,
or is that-
you're either going to be getting that from the Korean meatballs. You could be getting it from the cocktail sauce.
I think I just got a hit from this or that, but you
Oh,
know
yeah.
what? It's all good. It's all
I think
good.
Asian cuisine has such a wide variety of
Mhm.
opportunity, and that's what's nice this year, incorporating it here. All the different seasonings that they have, all the different spices that they introduce in their food.
Mhm.
It's a flavor festival. Every dish has its own, you know, unique flavor profile. Real quick, what is the substitute meat in the meatball there?
So for the meatballs, we actually use Impossible. Another great, innovative, plant-based company.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about how we do our Impossible here is that we marinate our meat for 7 days at least before we serve it.
Ooh.
So that's why you're not tasting, if you've ever tasted an Impossible Burger, the traditional taste of the
hemoglobin
Impossible.
or the
Right.
Right.
or whatever they use.
You know, and again, just being one of those innovative companies, you know, all credit to them for bringing a product like this to the market. And that's what people fail to realize too. The idea is not for this stuff to come out of the grocery store and taste heavenly, right? The idea is to create meat substitutes that you still have to give love and attention. You still have to give spices, seasoning,
and home cooks to,
for sure.
to do what they usually do with other things.
Yeah, I mean, ask yourself this question, right? If you went and bought a chicken out of the grocery store and you didn't season it and you just put it in a pan and ate it, is it going to taste good?
No.
Depends
I
where,
agree.
but yeah,
Well,
you're
I'm
right.
from the Caribbean, so the
You're right.
chicken sometimes came from the neighbor's house. But yes,
Yeah.
Grandma would season that out.
With something, right?
With a lot.
There you go.
Like when I first saw people and they were throwing food on the grill with salt and pepper, I was like, "What? Who's gonna eat that?"
Absolutely. And I always pose that question to people who say, how do you eat plant-based, or how do you live this type of lifestyle? How do you do without meat? Well, the truth is that people don't do without seasoning for meat. So when you think about it, what you're enjoying in that meat is the texture or the idea that it's meat and that it's savory, but it's really the plants that help season it, the herbs, the spices, all that stuff comes from the ground that actually makes the experience enjoyable.
All right, two more quick ingredient questions. What are you using in the mac and cheese? Is that like a
we make a house-made cheese sauce, and it's based from oat milk base.
Oh,
wow.
Yes. That's where you get that creaminess
who would
from,
have
that
thought
rich.
that oat milk would be so creamy?
Oh man!
And what do you melt? I mean, because I know a lot of the cheese substitutes now use the nuts or the nut butters or things like that. This is just pure oat milk.
No. Well, for our cheese sauce, we'll use oat milk. We'll use a shredded Violife cheddar cheese, which is one of my favorite companies that make cheddar cheese that's plant-based. We'll use some nutritional yeast to help with a cheesy flavor. We'll use some turmeric and some other spices.
It's got a lot of flavor, and then of course, needless to say, the kale greens are just outstanding. And that
I wouldn't have known those weren't collard.
Right?
I wouldn't have known.
So we try and again take some of these dishes that are the most popular in people's childhood and bring back a sense of nostalgia.
You don't need the ham hocks and the bacon to make this flavorful.
You don't.
It's just all goodness. And what are you just using in that aioli for a base instead of the mayonnaise and eggs?
For sure. So they actually make vegan mayo that you can buy from the store.
Vegenaise.
No, actually, Hellman's makes a version. That's so phenomenal. If you like Hellman's regular mayo,
I do.
Try their vegan mayo. It's the
not
same.
Duke's, but
Really?
Okay.
and me, I'm Mayo. My last name is Mayo, but
You don't eat mayo?
I'm a self-hating condiment. Mayonnaise is not usually
Yeah,
my
I didn't
favorite
grow up
thing in
eating
the world.
mayo, so I
But
don't
I've turned and I love the garlic aiolis and things with
The ranches
fish
and things like
and the
that.
chicken, and this is
Tartar
very
sauces.
very good. And I got it. And
we make
just
all
real
of our
quick,
sauces in house.
This is
Go
a pork substitute. It's like kind of
The barbecue ribs, man. I mean, I would honestly say out of all of the products that we have as far as meat substitutes, that is one of the ones that I get the most positive feedback on, because I got people in Kansas City that say, hey, these taste like ribs from home. I can't really tell the difference. But yeah, it's made from Vital Wheat gluten.
I'm gonna bring my girlfriend from Kansas City now.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna
tell
bring
her to come on through.
Well, I gotta give you a round of applause, Chef Sam, on the Lunchbox on a Visit Lauderdale edition, because you really very impressive stuff. And if I was blindfolded and led in here and given this food and say, what do you think? I'd say it's excellent, and I love the chicken wings, and they would say, well, that ain't chicken. It's a wing spelled with a Y, and the Y is like why not? Why haven't I been here sooner?
But most importantly, I love the way you're leading this movement of comfort food that's good for you, that's healthy. We as minorities take our food very seriously, right? Because at a certain point in history where that's all we had and we had to take it. It's a story of us, right? We had to take what we were given and make the best of it.
For sure.
And now you're making it so that it makes us the best. And I really do appreciate this. Thank you so much for sharing your food and story with us today.
It's been a pleasure. This is my first time here. It certainly won't be the last, because I'm going to be up and down this Pompano Strip often, and I will always stop in and say hi to Chef Sam and his crew. here at the Rabbit Hole, and you should come and check it out. Dive into the rabbit hole yourselves. Again, 2659 East Atlantic Boulevard, Pompano. He's here for you. Which of the days that your opening days are?
We're open Tuesday through Saturday, and
Tuesday
our
through
hours
Saturday.
vary. So just look online on Google or Yelp to check out, our hours of availability. But we are absolutely here for the community. I want to thank you guys again. You guys are pillars in our community, and all the work that you do, is valued, and we most definitely appreciate it.
I will take the compliment. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you're doing, and also raising awareness of Black history, not just in February, but 365 days a year.
Every day.
It shouldn't be excluded to
day.
a single month, no
That's
matter
right.
what some of our fine leadership in Tallahassee may think. This is a worthwhile
I'm a government
endeavor
employee. Why
to
you trying
learn
get me in
about
Thank you,
people's
Mike.
histories,
Mhm.
the good, the bad, the ugly,
We're all part of the fabric of this country.
And what's
Yeah.
funny is that, or not funny, what's I think the most profound piece of what you just said is that Black history is all history. We're all a part of history together. So
I think my Bible says it started somewhere, the Euphrates, the Tigris. That was up in like the Middle East, but then you got the
You're
Nile.
waiting for lightning to come down and hit you.
No, but the Nile,
When's the last time
my
you went to
people,
church?
we came up out of Egypt
Yes, no, I
after,
understand.
all that's going way back. But
Mhm.
all right, I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to start eating.
Hey,
I didn't even
Yes.
hit the corn
yeah,
muffins
you guys
yet.
got to get the
And what's that? Is
cornbread.
that
These are
more?
the
That's
buffalo
another one?
wings.
I would get
Oh,
one
I'm
more.
You
gonna
got to
get
try
it.
the buffalo
Because,
wings with the
I
ranch
gotta
for
get the
dipping.
spice. Yeah, that's
Yeah, guys.
all of it.
Enjoy,
Bravo.
okay?
It's
What you
all-
guys don't eat, please take home.
We
Let
will.
somebody
I
try.
don't waste. I don't
Okay.
waste.
Chef
All right,
Sam,
all right.
I'll give you
We
a
don't
fist bump
waste.
'cause we're
Thank you,
gonna
thank you. Don't
keep
worry
things
about
sanitary.
it. I'm be giving you guys some nice hugs before you leave.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you
Yes,
guys
no,
finish
thank you.
up.
That's
Come
going to
check
do it
out
for
the
today.
Rabbit Hole in
Jeff
Pompano
Defo
Beach.
DeForest, thank you for coming out and
Yep.
supporting. And we'll be back with another edition of the Lunchbox tomorrow. And Neki Mohan, it's always
Oh,
a
this is
pleasure.
great.
We'll be back later in the month with another Black History Month edition. We're trying to get something lined up that's also going to be special. Maybe at
Yeah.
Willie T's, maybe with Warren Thompson, who's a very impressive entrepreneur,
Businessman. Mhm.
restaurateur himself. So we're working on that. And until tomorrow, remember to enjoy every vegan dish along with every vegan sandwich and
Chicken wings.
any sandwich, chicken wings. I'm diving into those hot ones right now. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome.